And before we get started on the fights, which we've all seen, I wanted to start and just talk about the amount of shit I got on Twitter from people who think. I know it's rare. People usually are rational on Twitter. It's very rare that they're assholes.
I got off that shit, but go ahead.
People are like, you guys are just shills for the UFC because of what you were saying about Demetrious Jones. I didn't say one thing I disagreed with because I was saying that I think Demetrious should fight TJ. But I also said, if you remember, that I did not agree with GSP jumping the line and fighting Bisping ahead of Romero. I thought that Yoel Romero should have got that shot. So we don't just agree with the UFC because they say something. This one, oh my God.
Wow. Are you that guy in the movie theater too where the phone goes off?
Normally my phone never goes off because I'm so ashamed of the people I talk to. I keep the
really
volume
wish
low.
that I was in charge of that whole sound effect. He's in his own world over here. What the fuck's he doing? Never mind. Forget the boo.
Sitting here.
All I know is that booze. I forget the boo now. It's not going to work. But if I was in control of the sound effects, and when Jimmy's shit goes off, boo!
But it very rarely does.
Boo!
Do I get a lot of phone calls? I don't get a lot of it.
No.
I mean, you had TMZ called you last week, but you don't.
But wasn't it? Did we actually hear it or no?
No, when you got one,
You just saw it.
No, we heard it.
Oh, sorry.
50 seconds ago.
Yeah, you're right. But I try to keep
what
it
am
on.
I being a fucking artist? Ain't I the guy that got on the wrong train that time? Listen, Jimmy, I can't stay mad at you.
I know, I'm just a
over the
guy. I
phone.
can't help who calls me.
I know.
I'm popular. I keep it on in case Dana needs something.
Yeah, I mean, but listen, anytime, because this is UFC Unfiltered, it's the official UFC podcast. Anytime we say something that agrees with we're agreeing with Dana or we're agreeing with anything that the UFC is doing, that's what they're gonna say, that we're shills. Is that the word?
Yeah, but we weren't killing Mighty Mouse. Like, I like Demetrious Johnson. He's a very lovely guy, and he's one of the greatest fighters I've ever seen. I just didn't agree with this. I thought that he should have fought TJ. I hope he fights TJ because I want to see it.
I don't think you're gonna find one person to be honestly say, you know what, it's right. Let him fight Borg. They're not going to say it. They're not going to be honest. I don't think, unless they're Borg's, uncle or family or something.
What do you think?
It's an interesting position. I mean, everyone's entitled to their opinion. I like that. Demetrious is going to say what he thinks. I think it's important that people get to say what they think. But also, you do have a responsibility to also the fans. I mean, they're the ones that pay to see the fight, so you do have to pay attention to that.
Who would you like to see, Jamie English? Who would you like to see him fight?
I would like to see him fight Dillashaw. I would. I'm not going to lie. I mean, that'd be very interesting.
But my thing is, if he's going to be getting points on a pay-per-view for this fight, is that correct? Wouldn't you want it to be the bigger selling fight? Now, if that's me kissing somebody's, that's just honest. I mean, doesn't it make sense that you'll fight the fight that's going to be the bigger draw, better than maybe not a safe? I don't want to say a safe bet. It's really disrespectful to Borg, but it isn't. As far as
not as dangerous a fight for him. Maybe
to maybe secure that record that he's looking to break there. But it's like, I don't know, man. If you have beef with because I read what that manifesto that he wrote. Hi, what's going on, guys?
I'm saying.
Well, I got.
I'm saying to him.
Might as well just say it out loud. What's up?
Oh, I didn't want to interrupt you. I was saying maybe you could try to get Demetrious on the phone.
Get that guy on the phone.
Why don't we try to call him?
Yeah, look at Chris. Look at him right on the spot. Dude, his eyes. Hey, look at this. You see that deer in headlights?
Let's just try to call him. Just see if we can get him on the phone. UFC Unfiltered.
It's unfiltered.
Because he responded and said that Max Holloway raised a great point about the weight. And if he didn't make the weight, they said TJ's never made that weight. If he didn't make that weight, then all of a sudden it's a fight, but it's not a title defense. Yeah. And I get why DJ would be fucked up about that. So he apparently asked for some stuff in his contract that were guarantees. He said that the UFC refused. Now, I don't know what those are, so that's what I would love to ask him. What did you ask the UFC to guarantee you that they said no to? But that was a good point. So we acknowledged that. As soon as Max Holloway said that, we acknowledged it, right? We didn't yell and scream and say Max was an idiot. We're like, oh, it's a good point.
Listen, my thing is, with all his beef with the UFC, I don't know. He only knows how he's been treated. I'm not really commenting on that. That's up to, if he's got some problem with the UFC, that's his thing. If you ask me what fight I'd rather see, that's my thing. Yeah. I'd rather see him fight Dillashaw.
Mighty Mouse and Ngannou.
What?
I want to see Mighty Mouse and Ngannou. That's the fight I want to see.
You ever see that Gilligan when he was with the giant and he's running between his legs? You ever see that episode? I missed Gilligan's Island. I really had a thing for both Ginger and Marianne. It's like the good girl and like the really naughty movie star.
I always wanted to give Mrs. Howell a good rogering.
I'm telling you right now, on that island enough.
Severe rogering on the boat.
This has gone in a different direction.
On that island enough, Jimmy. If you're on that long enough on that island, I can see you tackling Mr. Howell.
Well, why not? He
Get over here.
Yeah, call me Lovey.
Is that the guy that does Mr. Magoo's voice? He'd be like,
was that him?
I'm gonna say it was. I know useless shit, and I'm gonna say that Mr. Howell. Could we look at Jimmy? Oh wait, what's this guy doing? What are you doing? Looking up.
trying to get.
I'm
He's trying to get DJ.
Hey man, yeah.
Do you have his number?
I don't. I got to contact somebody to see if we.
Oh
can
yes. Would you like to call him? We'd love to hear his
You know what I love? What Chris Producer doesn't love is that I like the
women.
It's so good that I like when you put them on the spot like this and.
That's not a crazy thing to want.
It's definitely not a crazy thing. I'm 100% behind you, but I like seeing the little deer headlights. Like, I might have to call somebody. I saw that's what went through his head.
Well,
Look
I
at
just
him.
don't
Look
have
at
his
him.
number.
Look
so,
at
you
him.
know.
I don't either.
don't
But it'd be
get
nice to get his
snappy at
opinion.
us.
I would love to know what he asked for in his contract that they said no to.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Can we,
Jamie.
should we read the quote? That Dana
Jamie,
said?
sometimes we like to torture Chris the Producer. It's part of the job. It's part of the job. He likes it though.
It's fun.
It's
Does he
fun.
Does he get extra money the more shit you give him?
No.
Don't get ridiculous, Jamie.
Dana did respond to Mighty Mouse's claims over the weekend, and
Let's hear it, man.
he said, "My guy Mick Maynard, who's a UFC matchmaker, who's one of our guys, has been handling that, and he said most of what Demetrious said was not true. First of all, when he did his deal, he didn't want pay-per-view. He wanted upfront money, no pay-per-view. He wasn't very confident in his ability to sell pay-per-views. He is the lowest-selling pay-per-view in the history of the UFC in the modern era. Number two, I think a fight between him and TJ Dillashaw would be something people actually might be interested in and could sell pay-per-views and could make money, but he absolutely refuses to fight the guy. It's ridiculous." He said more. Do you know the other?
What
quote?
I thought was interesting is when he brought up how he's, when the champ is saying how he feels he's not promoted correctly, and then he built the Ultimate Fighter season around him.
I hadn't thought of that until I read
I didn't
it.
think of that either, and it is true. It's
a very good point.
Yep.
That's putting him out there to the masses, saying we're looking to find somebody to beat the best fighter we got, basically.
They're saying this guy is so fucking awesome that the system that gets people to rank number one, number two, and isn't working to beat him. Nothing we're doing gets anybody who can beat this guy. We're trying to get other champions to see if they can. I mean, that was a tremendous
And
fucking nod.
They got Tim Elliott out of that, and I'll tell you that Tim Elliott fight with his was a fun fight.
Yeah, he didn't have a good night last night.
We're going to talk
Or
about that
Saturday
too.
night,
You could segue right into that, or we could wait. It's up to you.
We
we can wait. We can
I don't mind
let's keep
waiting.
looping it up. Loop the entry. Jamie, good to see you. Are you a caffeine guy?
No.
Oh, you should sip some of that, will you, please?
I quit caffeine. I'm on decaf now.
Are you?
I try. Yeah, and I've told you before the
Pussy.
show. I
had
have to
something
be.
in my
I can't.
mouth.
I
I
can't.
had something
I've
through.
said that before.
What?
I can't. I can't drink caffeine anymore. It's killing me.
Really?
Yeah.
Maybe you're tired because you're not having enough caffeine.
No.
Look at me.
I know you.
Oh, I'm having fun.
Yeah.
Did I tell you? I just told you, but you didn't see it because you came from the other direction. I got here, not even. I guess it wasn't even that early, but it's a very sunny day here in New York. So I was just getting a little vitamin D because I was waiting for my energy drink to kick in, and I'm out there. I got a little, and I'm like, you know what? I got like 5 minutes. I had my headphones on, listening to some good music. Jimmy's just boring you.
I'm listening to every word
Okay,
you're saying.
all right, 'cause you're looking
I'm
around.
100% with you.
All right. So then I'm sunning.
You were sunning
I'm basically
outside. You were
sunning
listening to
on the
some good
street.
music.
Yeah, I took my glasses off and I'm just looking up and all of a sudden, I heard I seen out of the corner of my eye, a guy stopped with his girlfriend and they were visiting here from, I forgot where. I forgot where they were from. But the guy's a big fan. So I must just look weird, man. I forget I'm wearing a UFC shirt too. So he just sees me sunning on the corner in New York when he's like, oh my God. And a lot of you, listen, you know the deal. I might be known to some people that watch a sport, but I'm not fucking Jimmy Norton famous. You know what I mean?
Oh, come on, man. You're known in many countries.
Yeah.
I'm only known in 3 states.
Yeah, they know me in Oslo. They called my name in Oslo.
Did they?
You told me they did. You fuck.
Oh, when I was on stage.
I'm
yeah.
sorry, Jimmy. I didn't mean you fuck, but
was on
now
stage.
people think I'm a liar.
No, they did actually.
Oh, they know me in Oslo.
They really did.
I just want to say Oslo.
I thought maybe you
You
fucked
know
It's
you've
fun to
made
say.
it when you're known in Oslo.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Jamie. And speaking of that accent you got, they knew me in Manchester when I walked down the street. Oh, well, they love me over there.
Of course
Anyway,
they do.
it's not about my popularity. It is about that sometimes I forget that people do know me sometimes, and I just act like I'm sitting there, and it might have looked weird because I'm literally on a corner next to a garbage can and a pole, and I'm looking up and I'm getting some sun. It might be a little. Is that strange? Let's say
Yeah,
you're walking down the block and you see I'm not Joe Rogan or somebody like that doing that. You're like, what the fuck?
You know how weird that'd be if I saw fucking Ozzy catching rays
Right?
on 48th Street?
Yeah, that'd be.
And I'm not. And listen, I'm not like that. But the guy did get excited, and he's quoting and watching some of my
Sure.
fights. And I don't know. I got to be me, Jimmy.
You should be you.
Thank you.
I
I'm
never
gonna be me.
discourage you from being
No,
you.
that's all I know how to be.
I always encourage you to be you.
Jamie,
give
you happy
your
you came
opinion.
down today, Jamie?
I am very
This is
happy.
fun. It's going to get a lot more funner, too. Is
Well, I hope
funner
so.
a word?
It is now.
And they also talked about shutting down the
Talk to
flyweight division, where Demetrious said that Dana threw that in his face.
Yeah.
But Dana said that they've been talking about that for 3 years.
Yeah.
And he said, I think that's what he was saying. He knows that. He knows we've talked about doing away with that division. It has nothing to do with Demetrious. Never once did I threaten him to shut down the division. It's not true. It's not what happened. I told him we have been talking about shutting down the division for years, and he knows that. Dana, there's something. Look, if Dana's ever lied, I have never caught him. He just, because he seems to be one of those guys, he just spits things out, like almost to his detriment. He'll just say whatever's on his mind.
Yeah.
So I kind of believe when I'm reading this, like that's the way you talk when you're being truthful.
What do you do, though? Like, what do you do? Like, I enjoy watching Demetrious fight.
Very much.
I do. But what do you do when, like, it's just not catching on to the masses like that? I mean, that's kind of what he's saying. We built a show around him. He was like, it's not me. It's almost like it's not. It's like, so in other words, like, I know, like, the champ's getting upset that he feels he's not getting... he's feeling he's not getting the push. I wonder what he says back to Dana with that.
I don't. There's something to be
know?
said for guys who are a personality too. And we've interviewed him. He's a very lovely guy, but he's quiet.
Right.
And people say, "Well, that doesn't make a champion." You're right, but if they're not selling, like, why do people watch Floyd Mayweather?
Right.
I watch this fight because I can't fucking stand. I want to see his head get knocked off. I don't like him.
It's hard for in the fight game. It's not a good thing to feel indifferent about somebody.